You aren't here to be agreed with. You are here to be accurate and truthful, and to be true to yourself, to really be authentic in your identity. Now, that doesn't always make people feel comfortable. Matter of fact, it probably will make you really not liked by a lot of people. I always have said understood by few and the H word by many. And I can't say that on this app. Y'all know why. But it's real. Like, we have to understand that, like, we don't owe, softness to distortion and mimicry. We don't. We owe ourselves the truth. Like, we have lived in illusions and mimicry for far too long to move about our lives trying to shrink ourselves or like make ourselves more compatible with the world. Like, what I really want you to know is not everyone is supposed to understand you. Like, so please don't carry that expectation, especially those of you doing any kind of healing work. Like, people are not going to agree with you, and your role isn't to make them agree. It's just to simply shine. Shine. And even if they don't understand it, maybe you're giving them just enough for them to have enough information to make a decision about what they want to do in their life based upon what they've seen from you. Even if it's to help them just think, maybe there's a different perspective. Even if they're talking stuff about you, that thought is energy, and it's actually seeding in their consciousness new information that could subtly impact their their subconsciousness. So don't focus about convincing anyone of your truth. Be the truth. Be your authentic self. And people are not going to really like you because you're going to challenge their comfort. Especially if you've been feeding any truths that they say, stand, or any conventional norms, any surface type of materialistic things that are widely accepted in the 3D, and everyone just says, but nobody really questions, or no one really, will challenge or say, hey, we don't like that for our story. We don't conform with this notion of reality. And if you start speaking out against that, then you're going to start challenging the very things that make them feel normal, that make them feel accepted. And you're also questioning whether or not they should too be challenging those things. That's why, have you ever noticed, like, in family debates, y'all, and I know that family debates have been like off the chain with all the political stuff happening, but have you ever noticed or wondered why people get so passionate when they talk about politics, when they're like trying to convince each other, Like, why do people get so set off when people think differently or a different way? And people start flinging insults and, using vulgar language and putting each other down for their thoughts, rather than just saying, okay, well, we have a difference of opinion and that's okay. But what I try to do when I hear people talk about things that is new information to me, or I really don't relate to, is I at least try to listen to see if there's any truth that resonates with me. And if there is, then I go look for more information. And I think that as light workers, as star seeds, as empaths, as seers, as oracles, as architects, as stabilizers, as whatever you want to call yourself, an intuitive, or just a person of light, a person living in Christ, Sophia consciousness, the one thing that we can hope for is that in the service that we do, in our ministry, and yes, I'll call it ministry, of being the light and living in Christ consciousness, living with Sophia's wisdom, that we can hope that people will at least listen. Listen, not even if they agree, not even if they embody it, but that they at least just hear the information, because their journey really is dependent on themselves, deciding that it's something that they want to understand. That's the first, is even seeing it and acknowledging it, and then trying to understand it, trying to have the wisdom, trying to then integrate it and embody it, trying to refine it, trying to live a life of coherence, right? Where we're consistent, whole, and truly living in fluidity and in alignment with their soul path. It's a stepped process, and one usually taken by somebody on their own. But any kind of guidance they can get on the way is going to help them in this path of coherence. So when you are an individual that shines, when you are an individual that's sure about who you are, and also sure that you don't need to convince anybody in the truth that you're embodying, and when you are whole and you're coherent and you are consistent and you have nothing to hide and you are content and you are satisfied in your journey, you definitely will unsettle a lot of people around you, and they won't like the truth or the light that you represent because you're reflecting directly on them. And it'll make them start wondering about their lives and what they're doing or not, or they'll think that you're trying to see yourself as better than them. And I just ask of you to not take on any of those projections, my dear. Don't take on any of the projections that the world wants to put on you. You stay coherent, you stay aligned, you stay whole, you stay loyal to yourself, you stay connected with the Most High God, the Supreme Light. I hope that this message is resonant. I hope that it is helpful. And I'm happy to hear that I was not the only one stuck at 0 views. I thought my TikTok journey was over. We'll see. All right.